You have found what lights you up. I'm your host, Sunny the Life Coach, and I'm here because I see you searching for something or someone out there to help you feel better. Something to take away the pain that you're feeling, the inadequacies. I know all of the things that happen in life can leave you feeling empty. Your search is over. This podcast is all about finding your own freedom and power to love yourself enough to shine in the ways you were always meant to, the ways in which you are already fully capable of. If you're ready for some real talk, some serious truth bombs, and a few F-bombs, you are in the right place. Let's do this. Let's get lit. Hey there, and welcome to episode 35. Wow, how did we get here so fast? Happy Thanksgiving. If you happen to be listening to this episode today, I hope that you and your loved ones are well. And honestly, I'm sending you these wishes every single day. It's curious that we generally set aside a few specific holidays to acknowledge our own wellness, comfort, and satisfaction. I've personally been making a concerted effort to spread those type of thoughts and well wishes on more of a daily basis, not only reserving them for special occasions. However, that is what we've grown accustomed to, isn't it? All of the customs and traditions that we have grown up with and that we've come to adore without even fully embracing their meaning. It's not a bad thing. It's simply an observation. Now, because I will be releasing this on a holiday, I'm going to keep this episode super short. This is not a joke and it's not a drill. I'm just thinking that this is a good time to keep it super simple. I'm not even going to get into my outrage about the Thanksgiving night Steelers game being postponed. Nope, not even going to go there, or I will lose my cool. Holidays seem to be a time when our lack of boundaries really start to show up in full force. And that's what I want to talk with you all about now. For some of us, it's any day, really. Because if you're still struggling to find a way to have your own back and to say no, I want to help you out just a little bit. I've just barely mentioned boundaries in passing in a previous episode, and when I did, I relayed that you can create a boundary as a means of protecting yourself, and you don't even have to announce it to anyone else. Did you know that? I honestly did not know this until a couple of years ago, and I must admit that I was floored. What? I don't need to announce my boundaries? I don't have to rent out billboard space? That's freaking fantastic. Because that's the part that we hate more than anything else, isn't it? Most of the time, we will compromise ourselves in an effort to please another human, whether it's a loved one or even a door-to-door salesperson. I'm not going to lie, I have a very hard time with the door-to-door people. I'm always thinking in my mind, what a thankless job that must be, and how I would feel if someone cut me off mid-sentence during the best part of my pitch to close the door in my face. How would I feel? Damn, that empathy. Must be why it remains an effective way to sell things. I suppose it is. I'm not entirely sure. Though, I know they are always showing up, so someone has to be saying yes, or they wouldn't continue wasting their time, right? Well, now I'm leaning toward logic. Let's get back to emotion. That's a really good illustration of a boundary, isn't it? Your actual doorstep. You don't want anyone crossing it uninvited. And so in this case, you actually do announce it to the world. You put up a no soliciting sign right above the doorbell, so that it can't be missed. It's very obvious, short and sweet, super specific, very clear. Do they work? They do not. I can assure you, the sign does not work. Boundaries are still crossed all the damn time, and I am as perplexed as you are. Instead, you're left just standing there, vulnerable and emotionally exposed, trying not to be rude, trying not to hurt a stranger's feelings. Yes, I know I could choose to ignore the doorbell, but that leaves me feeling guilty too. The last time I almost did that, it was one of my neighbors dropping off candy for our son early because she was going to be out of town for Halloween. I mean, you really never know. And it was a full-size chocolate bar too. Sometimes you might want to answer that door. If I feel that way about a stranger knocking, you can imagine how I might really feel obligated if there is an ask from someone I love. I'm like, where do you want me to be and what time? That's what I say out loud. Those are the words that come out of my mouth without even thinking about it. When behind the scenes, my real thoughts are, this is not a good time and I don't really want to. I've done that a lot over the years. I get it. We don't say our true thoughts out loud when we get an ask from someone we love, no matter how inconvenienced we will be, because that's how we've been programmed to respond. You give to the people you love, and then you give some more, without hesitation and without expectation. That's just what you do. That's how the world works. And then maybe someday you will be in need and that person will be first in line to help you out. A full, beautiful circle. Another thought that I have is that saying no is a selfish thing to do. If I say no to attending this concert with a friend because I'm really not even mildly interested in the music that she loves so much, does that make me selfish? Only if you think it does. A counterpoint to that argument is that you go, begrudgingly, and you hate every minute of it. Yet you're pretending to enjoy yourself. Some might argue that it's a selfish thing to hide your authentic self if you truly love someone. Yeah. Think about that for a second. You can actually be authentic and honest without being an asshole about it. Just try alternatives to this idea that saying yes to every single thing is the quote-unquote right thing to do. As if that's how you earn your virtue in this life or the next. No one is keeping score. And if they are, you probably don't need them in your circle anyway. The reason we say yes when we want to say no is because of how we think the other person is A, going to feel about that response, and B, going to judge our worthiness. There it is. That's the truth bomb. We don't want to say no because we think it's a bad word, and we don't want to say no because we think that means that we are bad. Well, none of that is true. It's all a lie. That doesn't mean that we aren't dreading doing it. I know all of these things, but you know what I said to a dear friend who asked me to go somewhere I didn't really want to go? I stalled. I said, let me get back to you on that. Yes, I did. This is work, I'm telling you, every single day. And you know what she said when I finally told her not now? She was fine. You see, we think we already know what the other person wants us to say, but that's also a lie. It's what people pleasers do. But we don't really know anything about what anyone thinks. I tell you this all the time, but I still slip up every now and then, and I think that I do. I think I know the right answer. There is no right answer. And saying no isn't wrong. There are actually 1,000 different ways to say it. Not now, another time, I love you, and no. There's one word that I'll challenge you not to use, and that is but. As my husband says, using but in a sentence just negates everything you said before it. It's true. That's the sole purpose of the word. I know he didn't coin that phrase, but he really likes it, and I do too. It makes perfect sense. So try saying I love you and no. Thank you so much for thinking of me. You know I adore you. And no. No, thank you. I would love to do that another time. Just be careful and don't leave the door open for another time if you clearly do not ever intend to accept. Like that salesperson, my husband is the one who says, come back later. And he has no intention of answering the door later. And he'll forget to tell me about it, and then there I am, trying to figure out how to say no without coming off as a bitch. It's hilarious, though. What do I care what a stranger thinks of me? Most of the time, we feel a certain way about an ask because it crosses a boundary that we would really do well to fully expose and honor. If I have an unspoken boundary that my Sundays are intended to be spent with my family and watching football, then any deviation from that plan is going to be unnerving. No, I don't have to tell anyone about it, and I don't have to explain myself if I want to decline an invitation because I find it to be a conflict. I just need to decline firmly, yet politely. You can even find ways to do it that don't involve the word no. Yet, always honor your true intention. Acknowledge that you love the other person because you do. And realize that having your own back is never selfish. As Rumi says, if light is in your heart, you will find your way home. I think that's a perfect quote for what I'm trying to say here today, and I hope that you can see that too. The people in your life who genuinely love you for who you are, for all that you are, will understand your response if it comes from that light in your heart. Stop dancing around and trying to play games with emotions, yours and theirs. Be honest, be heartfelt, and be true to yourself. That's putting goodness out into the world. That's what matters most. I hope you've enjoyed this super short and sweet episode. I'd be honored if you leave me a review on Apple Podcasts. May you find your way home today and every day. Light up, shine on.